think the interesting thing with Seventh Sojourn was when we finished the album, we went on a world tour.
Yeah.
And after the world tour and the album was, we had Days of Future Past, I think, at #1. Seventh Sojourn was #1, I think, at the same time. And then we finished the world tour, and then we decided not to work again. And it was quite strange to think that the album was actually called Seventh Sojourn. We hadn't thought about it, we hadn't meant it to be. But
why did you decide to not work again for a while?
We'd been on the road for about 2 years after we recorded this album, and I think that the success that we were having then was phenomenal over the world, and I think there was a lot of pressure on us, and we were in a kind of little cocoon. The amount of gigs that we were doing and personal appearances and stuff, all we were looking at was just each other, you know. It was like, well, get them here and we'll move them there. It was all in a little box everywhere. And I think we needed some time apart from each other, put our own lives in order and to meet different people, work with different people. I thought we were crazy at the time. Looking back now, I think it was the best thing we ever did.
Right?
Yeah, well, this has a bit of a dilemma, this album, called Live +5, because it's the album we never thought should have been released. It was a live recording that we made at the Albert Hall in 1969, and to be honest, we didn't think it was good enough then to release. If I was a fan, I'm glad that it's out, but we were never happy with it being released. It was a stopgap between this and Octave, which was the comeback album when we got back together again. Made in the USA, the only album we've ever made out of Great Britain. This album was a particularly traumatic one. The music was great in it. We enjoyed the music, but 2 members of the team left. Our producer Tony Clark in the middle of the album, and Mike Pinder, our keyboard player, as well, towards the end of the album. Right. So it was a time of great change as well as being a comeback album for us. But I think it was the album that finally set us back on the right road.
yeah.
The changes that were made were for the better. I love the sleeve of this, actually, LDV. We were in a photographic studio in London, and we just saw this on the wall, this picture, and I kept coming back to it and thinking it, because we tried so many ideas for album sleeves. We'd finished the album quite a while ago, but we just hadn't found the right thing. We kept coming back to this picture, and it was in a sepia brown finish, and it was huge, actually. It was like about 6 foot by 3, this picture. And the more I looked at it, the more it contained so many different aspects of each of the songs, and even had the sort of veteran cosmic rocko over here playing his drum, and we tried it in all different colours. We tried it in the original sepia, in the red and the yellow, but then we came up with blue, and it just looked right in blue.
Then we made the Present album, and Maxfield Parrish, the sleeve design.
Inspired picture, yeah.
On there.
Yeah, a lot of very nice songs on the Present. It took us a long time to make, but I think there's a lot of very good material on it.
Also, the other interesting thing about, I think, the Present, this was the first time we suddenly realised, you know, like Octave was the one that got us into Long Distance Voyager. I think the Present actually got us into the other side of life from the video side. Mm-hmm. We learned a lot from the videos when we did the Present, so that when we came to do the other side of life, we were ready for that as well.
We've had phenomenal success with this record, and like we said right at the beginning, we wanted to make an album that was more accessible to greater numbers of people, you know, to introduce a lot of people to the Moody Blues music. And the success we've had with it is fantastic. Beyond our wildest dreams, mate.
In the future, what's in the plans for the Moody Blues? Do you have ideas, goals, aspirations, more of them?
Well, there's never any shortage of ideas and within the Moody's, because there's 5 very strong personalities within that band, and so that there'll always be material to do and people wanting to do things. At the moment, we're in a sort of touring mode.
So rest is not in the plans for the next little while?
Well, this isn't so bad anyway. Come on tour to have a rest.
Yeah. Weather's nice. Well, what can you say?
Before we go, it's been a pleasure.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thanks so much.
Pleasure.
Enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Want to win a library? Moody Blues trivia. Someone is going to win the complete catalog of Moody Blues albums or cassettes. You tell us your preference. Runners-up will receive autographed albums of The Other Side of Life. Here are Justin and John with the question. Listen up.
In the mid-70s, John and I made an album together. What was the title of that album?
And for an extra 10 points, where was it premiered first?
It's a concert hall in New York, I tell you that.